Good evening, Aries. This is going to be your reading. I know I'm running really behind, and like I had told Gemini, I have been dealing with some very heavy triggering and clearing. And so I've been very 3D. I've been crying a lot. I've been clearing a lot. I had probably every unimaginable demo I could have happen to me all at once this week. Like probably 6 different demos going on at the same time. And I really was just ready to give up on everything just because I just couldn't do it. So, I deactivated my social media accounts. I have had my phone on Do Not Disturb for a couple of days, maybe 3. Definitely all day yesterday and today. I just needed some space, needed some privacy, and I guess that's, being divinely guided. I guess there's nothing wrong with that. We do what we need to do when we're working on things, and when we're working, I know whenever I'm working on things, I go into lower energies. I was in the 5D, I was feeling real balanced, and then all these things hit all at once. And that's what happens. That's one of these cycles. I talk about this is not a straight line journey, the journey of spiritual awakening. It's a cyclic journey. This sage is towards the end, so it's like when it gets lit, it really stays burning. So I would like to call in right now to help me with the reading. I would like to call in my spirit guide, Dr. George, Dr. George, would you please come and help me to read these cards today for my friends on YouTube, my Aries friends. Please help them to get some clarity the way that you helped me get clarity. Yeah, that sage is really going. I got it over there. There's one. That one came out. What I'll do is pull the cards, and then I'll pull the clarifiers as I go. I have been real 3D. I've been very third dimensional, very lower vibrational. It's been harder for me to connect. So I've been having to clarify more. I apologize. But I did want to get these done because I know you guys rely on me. It was too many. Two more. Give me 2 more. I feel like this one on the top was trying to come out. I had trouble putting it back in there. Okay. So the first card that we have the 8 of Cups, and we have Alice walking away. Alice is walking away from all this. So the energy that I am getting here is that you're walking away from things. Possibly giving up, just feeling like you just are sick of it all. You're just ready to just walk away from it. I feel like you've been going through a lot of triggering as well. Let me pull a clarifier for this card. For that 8 of Cups, I'll go ahead and pull one of my Romance Angel cards. I haven't been using these cards because I found them to be too 3D, but here we are in the 3D. I'm more like in the 4D right now. I'm kind of teeter-tottering in and out. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So what I'm feeling like, with this card is that possibly you're still wearing a lot of masks. and afraid to let your true self show. Possibly because basically what I'm getting here is that the person that you're with right now, maybe you don't feel like you can be your authentic self. Either because of fear of loss, you're scared that if they know like the real you, and this could be your things in your shadow side, that they're going to leave. So I feel like, you've kind of been a codependent chameleon of a sort, a shapeshifter, really just trying to appease and please the person that you're with. And the message that's coming through from Spirit is that this energy is making you feel like you want to walk away because you feel like you cannot be your authentic self with this person. And so it's almost like you're looking away. You're looking at other options, and because this is not resonating with you. It's not resonating with you on a soul level. And there's a lot of fears coming up, a lot of fears around, like I said, about being your authentic self. It's one thing to wear a mask and not show someone the true you, and have them reject you. And it's another thing to have them reject you when you are really your authentic self. Wow. I needed to hear that too. Because that could be like really, really painful. That happens to be one of my triggers. But you have to get to the point where you take your power back from others, where you don't care what other people think about you or how they feel about you. This is that whole, this is me. Take me as I am. Or I don't know what the hell to tell you. So that's the energy I'm getting with this getting to know each other. That you do not know each other on the deepest level because you still have things that you're hiding in your shadow side. Things that, you don't want this person to know because you feel like maybe they would judge you or look at you as being less than perfect. And so you're really in that whole energy of having someone else up on a pedestal and trying to reach them because you feel like they're better than you in a lot of ways. And this could be maybe you have a past that they aren't aware of, or maybe an addiction, something that you're still struggling with. And that's really hard too, because especially if you're with somebody who just seems like they've just really got their shit together and you got something that you're struggling with and you don't want them to know, and they've even made jokes about this, about drug addicts, it's to kind of poke fun, and you kind of felt away. Or maybe you've been to prison, and maybe this person kind of looks down on those type of people. So the message that's coming through from Dr. George is saying to still be your authentic self, because if someone else is not willing to accept you, warts and all, then what, they're not the one. They're just not. And never be scared to lose somebody by being your authentic self. Because when you align to a situation that's like not based on authenticity, there's really only so far it can go. All right, we have the Hermit. So I do feel like you've been very introverted lately, and if not, you feel like you need to be. Maybe you feel like you're suffocating. Someone else is suffocating you. And so you really just want to have the space and the freedom just to go off and do something that you want to do. I know I had decided today, and I really feel like I decided for my soul because I really feel very good about it, that I just really just want to be single. It's so much easier. It's just so much easier. And there's so much peace in that. But there's so much pressure put on us to be with somebody. Oh, when are you going to settle down? My thing was I didn't want to die an old maid. Who fucking cares? Because you know what? The way I look at it is, there's so much peace and so much tranquility, and all you have to be concerned about is yourself. So maybe this is I'm not saying, choose that like I did, but, maybe just take a time out. I'm going to go ahead and pull a clarifier for this card. That sage is like, it's really going. Once you get to like the very end of sage, it just burns like no other. You can't get this shit to stay lit. Then when it gets down to like the last little bit, man, it'll burn your house down. You got to watch that. I almost burnt my house down one time. It burnt like a hole clear through my coffee table. So, because it gets really, really hot. Healing, healed, healer. Healing energy surrounds you in this situation. So I do feel like there's something you're working on, and it could be a toxic behavior, and I believe this has been a theme for you, Aries. Something, an old cycle, an old pattern that you keep being drawn back to. Maybe it's old friends. Maybe you are. Hold on. Ooh, that thing is going. Put that over there. I can't breathe. Okay, so maybe you are dealing with a toxic behavior, maybe an addiction. I'm really feeling that very strongly. And so the message that's coming through is that you are being divinely guided and supported. And even though it's very uncomfortable to release addictions and codependency, the main way to do it is just to push through it. I know I have been trying to, and understand, I consider marijuana, I consider a medicine, but I have become too dependent on it, way too dependent on it. And so I've really been clearing out any type of codependent behaviors that I have involving other people. And I've been doing the valerian root, like I actually have the root, and I've been steeping it in tea, and I've been drinking that tea a couple of times a day. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. I'd almost take it to weed. And so the message that's coming through is something like that would soothe your nerves, because it's so soothing. I mean, it's just amazing. I put a little honey in it. So if you could find something all natural like that would soothe your nerves. Damiana is another good one. Catnip. I make, teas out of all three of those. But the valerian root is my favorite. Chamomile is nice. So some, herbal teas, possibly cut back on your caffeine intake while you're detoxing. But like I said, you are being divinely guided right now to make these changes so that you can understand. I look at addiction differently because I believe that each substance is a gateway. And if you can work with that gateway to the spiritual realm, it will fall off on its own accord and you won't need it anymore. Because I've been told over and over again on this journey that once I reach a certain level of ascension, that I won't need marijuana anymore, because it really has been a gateway. It really has helped. But now I'm dealing with the fact that, like I said, I kind of gotten dependent on it, and I'm trying not to need or want anything outside of myself. So that message is coming through. We have the Eight of Wands, and I'm going to get a clarifier because, like I said, I've been a little lower vibrational. Prophecy, guidance, and direction with this Eight of Wands. So what I feel like with this is that you are being divinely guided right now, and you know that. And I feel like everything that I have said so far resonates with you because you have been guided on a spiritual level, on a soul level, to make these changes. And to really walk away from things that no longer resonate. And like I said, the message that is coming through is to start being your authentic self. That way you can attract to you what is for you and not what is not for you. And we attract what is for us by being authentic, because then we send out authentic signals as to what, really does align to our soul, because we're living more authentically and living from our soul, because authenticity is your soul. Everything else that's fake, that's not you, that you've taken on, is all ego. Another message that I've gotten is a lot of times people will say, oh, you're being egocentric if you feel good about yourself, if you have high self-esteem. And the message that I have channeled recently is that is not from ego. Imagine you have an angel here and a devil here, okay? And the angel is your own soul speaking to you. Like, listen, this is what you should do. And then your ego is all of those fears that you have taken on as a child and a young adult, adolescent, even now. Anytime someone hurt you or betrayed you or they were disloyal to you or something didn't work out, you developed a fear or a conditioning about that particular situation. And so you took all those on, and that is your ego. Well, your ego does not want you to be happy because it's the devil, right? Imagine your ego is really the devil. And it does not want you to be happy, so it tells you lies like you're not shit, nobody wants you, this is not going to work out. So to say that you're egocentric, that is all wrong. Because when we feel good about ourselves, that is from the soul, not from the ego, because your soul wants you to be happy. Because when you have that high self-esteem, you don't align to any bullshit. You just don't. You have healthy boundaries. Watching my dog chase that smoke. It's bothering her too. You have healthy boundaries. You have, I would say expectations, but that's not really the right word for it. You take others down off a pedestal and put yourself up there, and you realize that how you feel about yourself is the only thing that matters, and it's just amazing. We have the Page of Wands, of which I want to draw a clarifier. You know what? I'm going to use my energy cards. Energy Oracle. The Temple Path. So, with this Page of Wands, I feel like this is a gift that's being offered to you. And this gift that's being offered to you is knowledge of self. And the way that you get to that, like I said, is being more authentic. And because your own soul holds the key to this temple path. Once you get to the point where you have stripped away so much, you really don't even need religion anymore. You don't need religion because you can connect directly to your spirit guides. That's what I do. I connect directly to them. And they will work with you and they will help you. And the Archangel Michael is the easiest spirit guide to work with. He was the first one that I worked with. I haven't worked with any. I've worked with several archangels when I first started this journey, especially with addictions. I don't have all of the archangels in front of me right now, like their names and stuff. But I know the Archangel Michael helped me with, I know there's different archangels that help with different things. The Archangel Michael helped me to stop smoking. He helped me to stop drinking. So he is a really, really good one. And, you can just talk to him like you talk to me. Because I am channeling the messages that there's a lot of ancient knowledge that you need to tap into to help you on your way. And some of it is past life related, because some of these cycles that you're stuck in are as a result of past lives. Because understand, imagine it like this, okay? You're this soul and you have taken on human form and sometimes maybe even animal form. We've been aliens, we've been all mermaids, I've been a mermaid, we've been all kinds of things. And so we have taken on all these different existence, all these different physical forms. And we have had different experiences, things that we've learned. And so all of that ancient knowledge of what our soul has been is stored inside of you. So every time we reincarnate, every time we do that, and we plan ahead of time. Okay, these are things that I want to experience because I want to learn this, because our soul's trying to learn what it's like to be human. Not exactly sure why yet. I'm not exactly sure why. It's the question of the day. I have not gotten that far in my ascension yet, but I assure you that I have set my intention to be an ascended master and to set romance and everything else aside and to just focus on my ascension and being one of the ascended masters. So when I get to that point, I'll tell you why the soul is learning how to be human. I think it's when we get like that new earth, because everyone keeps talking about like this new earth that we have, where like the earth is 5D now and it's not 3D anymore. But that's going to take time. Like that's not even going to happen in this lifetime, because we have a long way to go. So the message that's coming through is that you have that knowledge, that soul DNA that is stored inside. If you meditate and you start tapping into, you will understand yourself and why you do the things that you do, because they're past life related. If you have not watched my past life videos, do check them out. I make one bi-weekly. We have the Five of Wands. And I do feel like this has to do with teamwork. I feel like that's the reason why you're in hermit mode right now. Possibly having some clashes at work, maybe with people. Really being concerned a lot about what people think about you and how they feel about you. Maybe there's been some rumors. You've been in the rumor mill at work. Just maybe clashing with others. Just feeling more introverted than usual. And like I said, that whole hermit mode, while you heal and face some things, maybe you've been a little grumpier than usual. And then you're wondering what you have done to align to these situations. That's what I do, because you watch my videos enough. I'm always talking about alignment, about how whatever we believe to be true and where we vibrate at, we align to situations. And then when I align to a shitty situation, I'm like, what the hell? I was positive. I was telling myself a good story, and then whoa, out of the blue, here we go. But you have to look at it as whatever's happening right now is leading you to where you want to be. And, in order to get where you want to be, you have to clear out a lot of this shit that is not you, that is in the way. So when these situations come up, they come up to show you what you need to work on. So really stop judging it, and also stop judging yourself, stop judging others, just stop judging, because whenever you tell yourself a story about something, you are limiting it. So let's say, for example, something's come up and you tell yourself a story. Oh, this is what it is. You know what? That's what it is. Because your imagination is creating your reality. So, imagine, you have this situation at work. Maybe somebody does something and you're like, at your job or whatever, and you're like, And so you tell yourself, you know what, they never did like me. They're out to get me. That's what that means. It could have been something, like maybe they moved to the other table, when you were on your lunch break. And you're like, what the hell? And you tell yourself, you know what, they never did like me. They're out to get me. Well, all of a sudden now you have this whole shitty situation that you're facing because you thought that. So instead, flip it around and tell yourself something different. Like, you know what? I don't know what it was. I'm not even going to try to figure it out. It is what it is, because when I try to figure something out, guess what? It comes to life. And let's say, for example, something has came to life, and it's going to freak you out when it happens. You're going to be like, whoa, Tracy was right. Seriously, that's what happens to me. That's how I learn. Like, I hear it like over and over again. Then when it happens, I'm like, whoa, okay, now I understand. So if it happens, don't talk about it. Don't complain about it. Don't focus on it. Tell yourself, you know what? I created this situation. I'm going to, focus on something else. I'm not going to resist it because I created it. Where did it come from? Oh, yeah, it comes from my fear of somebody rejecting me, of feeling like I'm not good enough, or whatever. So look at it. My fearless freedom lights up the world. So what is freedom? Freedom is being free of fears, and also being free of worrying about what others think, feel, say about you. That's a big one, and that's very sneaky. It doesn't make any difference how many times you tell yourself this. That, oh yeah, I don't care what people think. Let something happen. And it's come out of left field and you're like, whoa, I really do care about what people think. Damn. So it's a very sneaky energy. And you have to get to the point where you don't care, because that's where your freedom lies. It really does. That is absolute freedom. You have no idea. Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is the heartbreak card in the deck. And there's a lot of disappointment here, because really the message that I'm getting is that you really started off, this relationship feeling like you had high expectations, and then things didn't look the way you thought they should look, because you created a whole story around it, and you're like, it's supposed to look like this, because a lot of times we go off of what society tells us that a relationship should look like. And maybe your relationship is not going to look like a traditional relationship. There's lots of other ways it can look. And maybe your soulmate or twin flame, or, this romantic partner, it can be a karmic soulmate, didn't look the way that you thought that they should look. And you felt kind of disappointed once you got into it, because maybe you thought they would be more spiritually awakened than what they are. Or maybe you thought that they would be more open sexually. It can be all kinds of things. And so definitely take a look at it, because I really did pick up on this energy of wanting to walk away. And that's all right too. I mean, let me pull one of my Lover's Oracle cards. These are really, really hard to shuffle. Well, it gives two, so you know what? We're going to take both of them. You can't argue with that. Balance. Love is not always about agreeing just for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. So that's what I was saying about balance. It's not going to look exactly the way you thought it was going to look. And like I said too, I do feel like it has a lot to do with not being authentic and not being real up front. And now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. It says, wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. So I am feeling like you need to slow down, maybe take a break. Definitely don't be scared to go into that hermit mode and really work on some things right now. But most of all, be honest. Be yourself. And that is how you'll know if the situation is for you or not. That message is coming through. That sage is still going like crazy. I'm going to have to go check on it. It's like still, it's going to burn to ashes. Watch. I'll have to get me a new one. Got some more in the kitchen. I feel like this one's trying to come out. Dearest you, let us ask you, are you looking for happiness outside of your everyday moment-to-moment experience, thinking you'll find happiness out there someday? So many go chasing a magic it out there, but it never could be found there. So we want you to share a secret that shouldn't be a secret. You are pure joy. What made you is pure joy, and every time you wake up and even when you go to sleep, you have joy waiting to be expressed inside you. Joy and happiness and fullness come from doing joy, being joy, knowing it, cultivating it, lighting it in your heart so that you can share it. You must know this. When the time comes, you'll be fully free, and your joyful being and actions will turn you into a beacon of starlight. Look within and be joyful, even for tears and loss, for they mean you have lived, really lived. Jump into it all and love every minute. We love you over here like crazy. So I do feel like that freedom card, that freedom card becoming a beacon of starlight. There was another one, joy and happiness and fullness. Look within and be joyful, even for tears and loss, for they mean you have lived. So yes, I do feel like, the message that's coming through is that you do need to, pull back your energy right now and focus on yourself. But, anybody who watches my videos knows I always say that. But, and be your real self, be your true self, because you are amazing and you just need to realize that. And who cares if you have a past? We all have a past. So if you would like to have a personal reading or to make an energy donation, I'll include that in the description of the video. Thank you for watching.